Michigan beats Northwestern 24-22 in what was a bit of a classic. Our memorable moment, let's take a trip down memory lane real quick. Presented by Graduate by Hilton. Nostalgic stays in your favorite college towns. You know that I love them. You know that they're nostalgic. They give you these awesome key cards, and they always are like a playing card from somebody in the past at that university. It's really cool. It's very cool. So go stay at a Graduate. I thought it was an amazing day at Wrigley Field. I really did. So just a quick trip down memory lane. I will just tell you, I have only been to one game, a Cubs game at Wrigley Field. So it was still kind of a new experience. And obviously it's more complete when you get to do it as a broadcaster, because we get to go in all the places in the stadium. And it started on Friday, just showing up and getting to go out there and actually take BP with the Big Noon guys, which was an absolute dream come true. It was awesome. And I got to tell you guys, like hearing the ball hit the wood bat in a stadium, in particular in a stadium like Wrigley, is so much fun. And I was trying to hit it out so badly. I wanted to hit the ball out of the park. You know, I played minor league baseball. If you listen to this, I thought I was going to. I got to tell you, I know I'm 43, but I was like, oh yeah, I can get one out of here. And I hit one, pretty good to like basically center field and short hop to the fence. And that's when I was like, oh, because I felt like I got all of that one. And then I was just swinging as hard as I possibly could. And my midsection is quite sore ever since then, here recording this on Sunday night. But that was an amazing experience, and huge shout out and thank you to the Chicago Cubs for that experience. That was awesome. The game then was phenomenal. I thought that environment was electric. Now, obviously, there was a lot of Michigan fans there, so it was loud most of the game. I thought that the actual game itself was tremendous. The shadows are in different angles than you normally see on a football field, because most football fields, almost every football field in America, runs north and south and not east and west, so that the sun goes from one sideline to the other sideline rather than from end zone to end zone. Listen, I get it. AT&T Stadium is not that way, but that's a dome. Most regular stadiums go north and south. Well, that's not how it was situated for Wrigley Field. So you got some opportunities that were missed because the ball is in the sun. Griffin Wilde lost the ball in the sun. Anyways, it was a really cool experience. And I thought, it was fantastic. And Gus and I very much enjoyed it. Jenny enjoyed it. She did a hit from the bleachers and the scoreboard, and we tried to really lean in, and it was a very cool day. Now we get to the game. Michigan survives after losing the turnover margin by 5. By the way, they also missed 2 field goals. Now, can we just say, I immediately, I'm thinking to myself, have I ever called a game where a team lost the turnover battle by 5 and won? So they were a -5 and 1. And no, that's never happened. So this is the first time that I've ever seen it live, period. Then I was reminded, hey, they also missed 2 field goals. And I was like, oh my gosh, no way. Well, has that ever happened in college football? And here's what I can tell you. Going back 25 years, we can only find one other game in which the team that won lost the turnover battle by 5 and missed 2 field goals. That was Boise State beating BYU in 2016. That's it. In a quarter century. That's how rare it was to see Michigan win that game on Saturday. So there's 2 ways you can look at this. You can say, man, that's a young team that's finding a way to win even in an impossible situation. You can be up on it. You can be like, that's incredible. They won even though they made all those mistakes. Or you can say, gross. I don't know which way. And listen, there's going to be Michigan fans on both sides of that. And I think I kind of understand both sides. I lean a little bit more towards the optimistic version because, listen, they can't play that way and beat good, like a great team like Ohio State. They can't play that way against Ohio State the last week of the year and think that they're going to get a win. There's no chance. And yet, I look at this team, it is the youngest team in the Big Ten by a wide margin, by the way. And they win that game, and it takes a lot of grit and resolve. It takes a lot of bounce back, from a lot of different people on that team, including the coaching staff. And here's the thing with youth, and they had freshmen everywhere, 6 starting on offense. You've got a third string running back coming in late, Cusdahl, because Jordan Marshall goes down. You've got Jordan Young, a true freshman, playing safety in a crucial moment, batting the ball away. You've got Andrew Marsh being the target on defense or on offense. He's a true freshman. There is youth everywhere, everywhere. And with youth is inexperience. If with inexperience, you're going to ride the roller coaster. There's going to be peaks and there's going to be valleys. And when you've got more youth, if it's just one freshman on the field, you can kind of weather the storm and you're not going to ride the roller coaster as much. But when all the players on the field are this young and this inexperienced, you are going to ride the roller coaster, period. And there's nothing you can do about it. The shoulder straps come down. It's like, and they lock in. And it's like, hey, 3, 2, 1. And you're riding the Incredicoaster at California Adventure. And you know what you can do? Nothing, because you're on the roller coaster and you're going to be up and you're going to be down. And you know what? All you can do is not throw up. So good luck. Good luck, because that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be until they develop consistency through experience. So a game like that is exactly what they need. And you would much rather win a game like that than lose a game like that. Okay, because even in a win, there are going to be learning opportunities, in particular for a young quarterback. And I think that Bryce is going to get the focal point of everybody's analysis and talk and maybe even criticism from that game because of what happened late in the fourth quarter. He did not play well in the fourth quarter. After, and this is what's wild, playing his best game of the season. So Bryce was a microcosm of this roller coaster I'm talking to you about. For 2.5 quarters, he played the best football of his career, and he's only 18. True freshman came in there. He had developed, I think, multiple different, I would call paces on the ball. You see, to throw the ball effectively, or I should say, and forgive me, to pass the football effectively, you've got to be able to throw 3 distinct styles of pitch, I want to call it. You've got to be able to have a fastball and drive the football, and you're seeing examples of that on your screen. You've also got to have the ability to layer the football over linebackers and in front of safeties. And then you've also got to have the ability to throw down the field with touch, okay? And he did not have that early in the year, and he showed all 3 of those in the game against Northwestern. And by the way, after he made all those mistakes, you're seeing right now the throw he made to Andrew Marsh on the game-winning drive for Marsh to keep his feet in. These are kids that are just out of high school, for goodness sake. That play and throw was incredible. And that was after the mistakes. See? Trajectory. That's why I choose to be a little bit more optimistic about the way that they won versus the pessimistic view of just saying like, gross, 5 turnovers, 2 missed field goals. I can't believe it. I think at that point, it comes down to your expectation. And with Bryce, I'm going to give you a couple of specifics that he needs to do to clean up some of the mistakes late, because the mistakes late were costly and almost cost them the game. A couple of interceptions, a fumble. Young players have a tendency to predetermine what they want to do with the football, okay? And you can't do that. You just can't. You cannot take anything for granted. And Bryce will learn that. I thought the placement of the mesh when they fumbled on 4th down, and I don't think he was going to get the 4th down anyways. So that turnover might have been a moot point. That might have been a 4th down anyways. But that ball was way too high. He's got to understand that the quarterback is responsible for the mesh point. So the quarterback has to put that ball in the stomach of the running back and then ride him down. You can't put that up in his chin like you're seeing on YouTube right now. Then when you get to these interceptions, you can tell that he just kind of locked in on a wide receiver and he was like, I'm going to throw that route regardless. And it was double covered and Northwestern steps in front of it and picks it off. Okay, so again, predetermined, and you can learn from that. But the key is that you learn from that and that you don't do it again. And then the last interception was something that I got to tell you, we have the fix for, which is Go to Understanding Football on our YouTube page because I talk in depth about the RPO, and this was an RPO, and it was just misread. And again, he predetermined where he wanted to go with the football. So go to the YouTube channel. I can tell you everything that you need to know about the RPO. Here's what it is. He's got to make a decision based on the safety on that weak side. If the safety flies down into the run area, he's going to throw the ball. If the safety stays and sits, as I would say, flat, like you just saw on YouTube right there, you've got to hand the football off. If you predetermine, then he can beat you, which he did. And by the way, Fitzgerald played the game of his life. He was incredible. 12-plus tackles. He was hitting. He got that pick. He was phenomenal for Northwestern. So go to the YouTube channel. I break down all of that RPO stuff right there. You can watch that video and you'll know exactly what he needed to do exactly what he needs to do moving forward in that type of experience. Real quick about Michigan. I think life in a lot of ways is about expectation and expectation management. And I'm not telling Michigan fans to lower their expectation, but I am saying that I think that this team is getting a bit of an unfair rap because, in particular on offense, everyone like, why isn't the offense this? Why isn't the offense that? Relax. Okay? Michigan's offense is vastly better than what they were a year ago. Okay. And I understand that they were bad. They were, I think, 129th in college football, but like vastly better. They are averaging over 400 yards of offense. They almost had 500 yards of offense against Northwestern, which is not a bad defense. Okay. The quarterback is getting better. 2.5 quarters, he played his best football of his life. They've got 3 redshirt freshmen on the offensive line. Relax. Okay. The offense is fine. Now they're battling some injuries now, which we'll see how that happens, or we'll see what they do with that moving forward. But the problem with those, there are some of you as Michigan fans, I'm just telling you right now, all you do with this group is view them through the lens of the 22-23 Michigan team. Like, come on. You can't do that. That team had like 500 plus total starts. That's how much experience they had. And that 23 team that won the national championship, about at this point in that 23 year, they had like 500 plus starts on their offense and defense. You think this team has that? This team has like a total of like 100. I don't know the exact number. I'll try to get that at some point, but it ain't 500 plus. I can tell you that. So that's an unfair comparison. And then the other thing that happens, and it happens for Ohio State as well, is that every game that Michigan plays, they're compared to Ohio State. And Ohio State happens to be the number 1 team in the country. So this young team, youngest team in the Big Ten, Sharon Moore in his second year, got an 18-year-old quarterback, and some Michigan fans want to just compare them to the best Michigan team that they've had ever, a 15-0 team that won a national championship, and the number 1 team in the country this year. Now, that's fine. I get it. You want to have high standards. More power to you. I'm all in on all of that. But like, you understand that that's a little off, right? Right? Okay. Let's move on. Actually, really quick. Gosh, dang it. I'm going really long, but that's okay. That's okay. Northwestern, no moral victories. They could have won the game, should have won the game. You're +5. You get 2 missed field goals on the other side. Got to win the football game. Their defense was rugged. I thought their defense was outstanding. I love their head coach. David Braun is an absolutely great head coach. Remember I was telling you about Kirby Smart? His players play hard for him because he fights for them. Well, this is the type of answer and the mentality that starts to turn your culture into that type of culture that I was speaking of earlier. This is David Braun after the game and the loss to Michigan.
None of us want to hear, hey, good effort, guys. You gave Michigan a run for their money. That was a great effort. Came here to win a football game, and that was the expectation. And, my commitment that I made to those guys, I'm going to get right back to work. I'm going to battle my butt off for every single guy in that room, and I expect the same out of them. But as we, flip over this new leaf, couple more games this year, get ourselves to the postseason, finish this group's story off the right way, and move into a new Ryan Field. Like, this program isn't like, hey, we're going to give it our best and see what happens. The expectation is to go win a Big Ten championship.
Yes. All of that. Yes. David Braun, man, love that guy. Really do. Really good staff at Northwestern. And man, that defense, woo, they were hitting, man. They were hitting. Very few times have I called a Michigan game where I thought that the more physical team was the other team. I can't remember it almost ever. I felt that way Saturday. And Michigan will disagree with me, but boy, that Northwestern team was hitting. And I like their future. Really like, if I had a son who could play college football, I'd want him to play for David Braun.
Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. And you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.